Alright, hello. I'm bored again, so I just felt like I'd do a video where I just talk about my thoughts of every character in the game. It's probably gonna be a long video, but I don't know, I just felt like I'd do it. Um, there is a new patch coming, so I'm not gonna talk about Yumi because I don't know what to think of her. Apparently, she's gutted to the ground. I saw some videos of people saying she's still gonna be in the game, so I'm until playing her, I'm not gonna talk about Yumi. I'll just skip Yumi. But yeah, Aatrox. So right now, I think this is probably one of the best top laners in the game. They've nerfed him to the ground. He's got a lot of CC. He provides a lot to your team. He does a lot of damage. He's a threat. Later in the game, he kind of just falls off though, unless you do like the full AD thing. I think this is like a pretty good character. Yeah, not much. You know what? Let's just do a tier list too. While we're at it, we might as well just do a tier list. Can we do 13.1? I think this has everyone. Who's the newest character? I can't even think right now. Cassante? I don't think Cassante is on here, but I'll just like say what I think of him. But yeah. Alright, Aatrox. Easily S tier. Amazing character. We're just gonna do ABC. We'll do SABC and then we'll just do we work ASAP. Sure. Amazing character. Yeah. Next character, Ari. So I think Ari is one of those like stereotypes. I mean, yeah, she's getting like her whole visual update soon. I don't think they're touching the numbers at all, but like I feel like a good Ari player can 1v9, but like most of the time Ari, I would rather just have any other mage. Like I don't feel like Ari is that good. Like she requires too much of you to be good, and even when she does land everything, she's like not that good. So I'm gonna put her as like C tier because like she's kind of a whatever character. Akali, S tier. Literally, I'm just gonna close this because obvious. I don't know why my ad block isn't working, but whatever. Anyway, Akali, fucking giga broken character. She like even if she doesn't like she threatens backline so hard, even if she doesn't like get fed, she's like a huge distraction for your team. Like she does a lot of damage. She has a really good wave clear. She's really good in side lane. She's really good 1v1. Like 1v9 character. Just so much mobility. Like this and Irelia are like my two go-to bands right now. I can't stand Akali. I like don't understand. Like I don't get why she hasn't been nerfed. Like I secretly think this character is, and I don't even think it's secret. Like I think a lot of people think Akali is just really broken, but like she just does so much in her kit. Like she does so much damage. She has so much mobility, and like it's not like there's a team comp she can't be picked into. Like I don't know. This character is just a 1v9 machine. Alistair. Alistair's like C because there's no reason to play Alistair when I'm not even gonna do this. I'm just gonna there's no reason to play Alistair when Nautilus exists. Like he doesn't do anything better than Nautilus. I mean, there's really not much to be said. Amumu. So like support, I think he's better than Alistair, but again, it just comes down to like why not just pick Nautilus. I think him and Nautilus are like top of the pack, but I think Nautilus is just like a little bit better. Jungling wise, like whatever. I want to put him in B because he's like really good, but like to be honest, if it was up to me, like just rework this character. Like this character is so old. He's still running the Chinese splash art, which I mean there's nothing wrong with it, but it just looks really outdated. His whole like model super outdated, and he just gets skins every single like fucking 3 months for whatever reason. I don't understand why they literally pump skins. Like there's literally one coming out very soon. So yeah, is this recording my voice? Yeah, it's okay. So I'm gonna put him. He's like somewhere here. I want them to just rework him. So because this is like my tier list, I'm just gonna put rework. Anivia, I think she's A tier. I think this is like one of the old characters that is done perfectly right. Her thematic's awesome. Like everything about this character is really cool. She's one of the old characters that like does not need a rework. She's really really cool. She does a lot of damage. She does a lot of wave clear. She's like one of the coolest control mages. I think she's a great character. Like amazing. Annie, C tier. I mean, very obvious reasons. Like she is very very susceptible to ganks. She's very straightforward, but she's like made to be an easy character, and she's in like she doesn't see any pro play specifically because she's like made to be an easy character. Now that being said, she's getting some buffs very soon. Aphelios, honestly, I would like to put this character in rework. I think this character is like so ambitious, but it just needs to be done something else. I think he looks really really cool. I think the idea is cool, but I just think he's way too ambitious, and there's just like I don't know, so maybe some way to choose what guns you want, like something. This whole like swapping through the guns thing, it's not that good. And when he is good, he does too much. Like right now, I never want to see Aphelios as my AD carry, not once, not a single fucking time. Yeah. Ashe, S tier, amazing AD, provides utility, provides poke. I think she's the best AD, if not one of the best AD carries in the game right now. Her R is amazing. She can be flex support. You can even flex her mid if you want. Just overall amazing character. Does a lot of she does a decent amount of damage. She falls off a little late game, but like it doesn't matter because her R cooldown just becomes so low that she's so useful off that. Like one R can just win you the game. I really think this is like they need to look at this character. Like she's one of the original 20s that has been reworked so many times to the point where now she's like amazing. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about Asol because he's getting a whole new, like in 2 patches, he's becoming a different character completely. So I'm just going to put him here. Azir, A tier, same place as Anivia, very, very similar, does a lot of damage, really cool control mage, really cool thematic, requires a lot of skill to play though. I am always down to have an Azir on my team. I think that he provides a lot of CC. He provides some utility. He provides a shit ton of damage. He scales really, really well. And if you go even or go slightly ahead, he's like a really, really good character. Bard, probably A tier. I think there are just other supports that are better than him. He's really, really good in solo queue, but like he just gets stomped in lane, and there are better like roaming characters to play support. Yeah. Blitzcrank, I think, is S tier. He has like one of the highest win rates of all the supports right now. He's not exactly like Nautilus because he's really like I feel like Blitz is way better at roaming than Nautilus because of his W, and also Blitzcrank has the whole like he counter shield, so he has his own purpose over Nautilus, and he's just a really really good solo queue pick. He threatens a lot. He's one of those characters where if you either hit the hook or you don't. He's really really good if you hit the hook. Every single time he hooks, it's like summoner spells. It's great. Brand, C tier. Like honestly, I would even put him B tier because in solo queue sometimes he can just randomly pop off and do shit. I don't know. I feel like this character can only be played support. He kind of just is one of those characters that suffer. I mean, honestly, to be honest with you, I'm just gonna delete this row. And I'm just gonna put him in rework because he needs a rework. He is very outdated and like he does a lot of damage. He's supposed to be like this combo mage, but like that doesn't really exist in League right now. So I'm not really gonna talk about him. Yeah, Braum C tier. There's really not much to say. I like Braum's thematic, but like it's not enough. His whole like big wall, big stand behind me kind of guy. Like it's really cool thematic, really cool lore. Really cool looking design, but it just doesn't cut it because he's just not good enough. He doesn't provide enough to the team. I will note that he's amazing for level 1 fights. Like he's really, really good for level 1 fights. He's really, really good for skirmishes. It's just like I don't know why you would pick this character in solo queue. He's amazing for pro play because he's really, really good at countering certain characters like Syndra, but like I just don't get why you'd play this character over the other characters that exist. Caitlyn, I mean, not much to be said. Just hands down best AD carry in the game. No questions asked. We're in like a poke meta bot lane right now, so like She will always shine. She's really good early game. She's supposed to fall off mid game and then hyper scale late game, but like honestly, I think she's just good at all points in the game if you build her correctly. Everyone loves to just build this character wrong for like whatever reason. Like it's really easy. You just build crack. I think you're supposed to just build crack and PD every game, but everyone thinks it's Gale Force like rapid fire. I don't know, man. I think this character's so broken. I'm so happy to have this character as my AD. It's an amazing character. Camille, S tier character, similar like Aatrox, except she scales better. She has a weaker laning phase. Just overall, really, really good at skirmishes. Scales really, really hard. Really, really great character. I think thematically, she's one of the coolest characters in the game. Super fucking versatile. Does a shit ton of damage. And she has like a lot of really, really flashy things you can do on her. I think this is one of the coolest characters they've added by like she's probably in my top 5 like coolest characters they've added to the game. Just thematically, what they do in the game, and like how good they are. Honestly, if I was a top lane one trick, I'd main Camille. Yeah. Cassio, I don't feel like I don't see this character enough to talk about it. I know she's really liked in pro play. She's like a good hyper carry, like not even a control mage. She's just a hyper carry mage who, if you're good at kiting and you have good mechanics, she's an amazing character. But I don't see her enough in my solo queue games to even talk about her. So I'm just gonna put her at B. I think she's actually like an A. Okay, I'll say this. I think she's an A tier character, but I don't see her enough to really speak on her that much. Yeah. Cho'Gath, just rework this character. Just fucking rework this character. This character is like everything in its kit is so outdated. Like literally the only person who's challenger with him is like Alex Blaze, plays in full AP. No one else fucking does it. No one does what he does, playing in full AP mid. I think he's thematically such a cool character. I love the big monster. I love the feast like mechanic. I think it's really, really cool. But like he just looks so outdated. He just needs a visual rework, or like honestly a whole rework. I think this could be a really, really cool tank. Or a mage, if they want to, please both players. But yeah. Corki, I think this is literally one of the ugliest characters in the game. I'm not even going to say anything about it because he's so boring to play against. He's so boring to watch. I just rework this character. Darius, C tier. Like, why play this when Aatrox exists? Diana, I think she's an amazing jungler. She can be really, really good mid. Her new skin is, like, literally one of the coolest skins they've ever added. She can be played as an assassin. She can be played as a bruiser. You can even play her as like a full tank with Jack Show. Very versatile character. I'd always want this character on my team. Honestly, she may even be S tier. Draven, again, one of the best AD carries in the game. I think in high elo, like everyone wants to ban this character because it's like this, or it's one of these 3 AD carries right now. Like it's like these are the trifectas of AD right now, and then like Zeri if you have Yuumi, but like who knows what's gonna happen to that since Yuumi got reworked today. Really not much to say. Just really good lane dominant character who, if he gets his first kill, he pops the fuck off. I would say I would rather have Ashe or Caitlyn though, because if the Draven player doesn't, because sometimes Draven players just play hyper aggro because they're so obsessed with that first kill to cash out, and if they don't get that first kill to cash out, they just like hyper tilt and they just lose you the game. So I would rather have an Ashe Caitlyn. Mundo, just S tier. This character's so fucking bonkers after the rework. I don't know why it's using the old splash art, but this character's just so fucking bonkers. Like, literally just fucking drool on your keyboard and just farm hard steel stacks. It's really quite hilarious. Like, I really don't think I've seen a tank more broken than this one. Like, ever. In League. Like, I just think he's so funny. Like, you literally can just drool on your people, like, drool on yourself and just win every lane. There's literally a guy in EUS Challenger right now who only plays the Corporate Mundo skin. I think his name is like Corporate Mundo in all caps. And he's just like top 50 on EUS Challenger. Only one tricking Mundo top. It's the funniest thing in the world. Echo. Honestly, I'll put Echo S tier because I just like feel like he's the best assassin in the game. He feels like this character feels like if he gets one kill, it's over. Like he just like no character snowballs as hard as Echo does. Jungle. I'm specifically talking jungle because he clears so well. I don't see him mid anymore, but he probably can be still played as mid laner. This character scales super hard. He like is the biggest threat late game to squishies. Like, I actually think this character needs a nerf. He's just the game feels over when like you're playing versus it. Elise A tier. It's like she's super good early game, but like she just feels so useless late game. But she's really really good AP jungler, and she's super super good for like because games end so quickly now, and she's a really good early like she's just an early game character. She's literally the way I like to think of Elise is that she is the early game equivalent of Lee Sin, for junglers. Yeah. Evelyn, super feast or famine character. She either pops off or she's the most useless sack of shit. Really, not much to be said. Cool art, cool design, cool looking character, but yeah. Ezreal. Okay, this is gonna be really controversial because I think a lot of people think that Ezreal's like this S or A tier character, but I actually think he's dog shit. I think Ezreal for like for him to be played, he kind of is like Ari. He's like why pick this when there are characters that just do more for less effort, he just like so many skill shots when you could just play something else that'll do more damage for less work, I don't know, there needs to be a higher payoff for playing these types of characters. Like there are a bunch of skill shot characters like Xerath for example where like you should get rewarded for like landing multiple abilities, you should get rewarded for like having really really good aim, but like you just don't. Like, why play this when I could just auto for Jinx and do more damage and then potentially dodge a skill shot and I auto win? I don't know. Fiddlesticks, I think, is S tier. I think in the right hands, his character is bonkers beyond belief. I think more people should play him more. I love. This is one of my favorite junglers. I think he's fucking hilarious. Thematically, he's so cool. I think it was one of the best reworks they've ever done. Really, really cool AP jungler. Again, using the wrong splash, but whatever. Fiora, S tier. She's just like the best skirmisher in the game. She hyper scales late game. She shits on most matchups. Like, I think a good Fiora player literally just takes over a game. Honestly, this might be the most 1v9 character in League right now. Not if I really think about it, I can't think of a character that is more 1v9 than Akali, Irelia, and Fiora. It's one of those three, to be honest. Fizz, just fucking rework this character. This character's so shit. Like, again, why play this when Akali exists? Galio, I think he can be really, really good. He's a good safe pick, and he's really good when you need like a front line in the mid lane slot. And I think that's a role that does not exist in the game that he fits. So he has a good niche, and he's good at what he's doing. He's got really good wave clear. He's really good map pressure. He just falls off hella hard late game. He's really, really good early mid game, but then he just falls off super hard. GP S tier because he just hyper scales and can 1v9. Has a pretty good laning phase. I know he's like the bane of every top laner's existence. I honestly want to put him in A because I don't see him enough, and I feel like he has like Yasuo syndrome when he's like on your team. He's useless when he's on the enemy team. He's 1v9. So maybe I'm a little bit biased. I'll put him in A tier because I feel like he is probably slightly better than everyone else. Yeah. Garen, A tier. Honestly, I could even put him in S. I feel like every single time I see this character, there's no counterplay. He just runs at you. And I'm talking when I talk about Garen, I just want to say I'm not talking about the Stridemaker build. I'm talking about the full crit build because I think that the Gale Force Phantom Dancer build is going to catch on more. Because the Stridebreaker build is nowhere near as good as the fucking full crit one shot build. Like he literally just one shots at you and like he spins away. And he's so simple to play. It's really really funny actually. Cool character, cool design, and he exists to be like the Annie version of top laners. But I think if you're gonna make a character so easy, they should not be able to just like zero counterplay you this hard. Like Annie was really really broken back in the day because you'd buy DFG first item and literally just 100 to 0 any character in the game. It feels like Garen is that way with Gale Force now. Like as soon as he hits level 6 Gale Force, anyone can just be deleted if he has Ghost. Gnar, I don't really like this character. I feel like this character is just hyper useless. Like he sees pro play. He has this issue where like he's super good in laning phase, and then he has really really good setup for team fights. So he suffers from pro play syndrome, kind of like he'll never see really good solo queue play because he suffers from pro play syndrome because he provides so much that he'll always just be nerfed to the point where only pro should play him. and it's kind of like a weird spot. I just think they're in solo queue. They're better characters to play. Gragas, it's like, what is he really trying to be? Like, am I trying to be this AP assassin Bomba, or am I supposed to be a tank? Like, and it just kind of feels like he double dips between the two, and he doesn't feel good as, like he's only good as an AP assassin if he's played full AP at the highest level. If, like, I don't know, it's just like, why pick this character when there's so many, like, all these these control mages exist. Like, I just don't get why you would pick this. I get he's very, very fun though, and I know what, like, the combos, and like thematically he's hilarious looking. It's a big fat guy who's just throwing alcohol at you and just like fucking clapping his cheeks on you. It's really, thematically it's very, very funny, so I understand the appeal, but I just don't think he's that good. Graves, probably like A tier. He used to be S tier, but like I feel like now he's kind of fallen off. He just doesn't do as much damage as he used to after the nerfs. I don't know. I just don't feel like this character's that good. Gwen, I just feel like this character's hyper useless. Like, she doesn't have a good early game. She doesn't really seem like she has a good late game. I mean, I think that thematically she's really cool. Visually she looks really cool, but like she could have been the AP Camille. But like I just feel like this character does nothing. Like she just stalls a little bit with her W, and it's really weird because she's one of, like, the 2020 characters that, like, every ability is a paragraph, but I don't know. Hecarim used to be. If you asked me 3 patches, guys, I would have said S tier, but like I see him less now, and he doesn't feel as threatening as before. But Hecarim is the bane of every mobile player's existence, so I'll put him in A tier for now. Heimer is, okay, they just nerfed him, and if you had asked me last patch after today, I would say he's S tier. He's Zyra, but better. Like, why would you pick Zyra, Xerath, any of the AP supports when he exists? Like, he just does more damage. He builds rallies first. Like, this character, like, why would you ever play Zyra when this character exists? I ask my that every single day. He just does everything that Zyra does, but better. Talia, it's kind of like, it's like I get the appeal of this character. I think she's so fucking cool looking, but like, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna be saying, why play X character when this character exists for a lot of these characters. I'm just gonna put a disclaimer for that now, because we're kind of at the point where there's gonna be a few outliers I can see that fulfill their role and their niche that are just really good, but just be warned. I'm gonna be saying that a lot. Like, I just think Diana does her job better as an AP jungler. Alawi, C tier, she can either be, and she kind of is like Evelyn, where it's like super feast or famine. If she's ahead, she's like, it feels like you just have this fucking boulder rolling down the hill, waiting to end the game as she split pushes. Because if you send 3 people or 2 people to kill her, sometimes you even just randomly lose, and then you just lose the game off that one Alawi play. So it's very like hit or miss, and because she's so hit or miss, I put her C tier. But a good Alawi player can definitely like take over the game for sure, and she does shit on, like, she's I know she's pretty good into Fiora and Akali. Yeah, Aurelia S tier. I like the trifecta of just fucking these 3 I just think are like the most 1v9 characters in League right now. I just think they're so fucking strong and broken, and it's not even like because of the mobility creep of League. I just think they do way too much damage. Like, I nowadays it feels like Fiora and Irelia they don't feel like fighters. They feel like they just one shot you. I don't know. It's just crazy. Ivern, just fucking rework this character. It's a cool, ambitious idea, but like, he's supposed to be the first enchanter who is in the jungle, but it's so reliant for your teammates to have hands. Like, I feel bad for people who like one-trick Ivern, because it's like playing Janna jungle. It's just, I don't know. Janna, like, dude, I have such a fucking love-hate relationship with this character. I think she's like a really cool enchanter, but she just gets so much hate, and they've nerfed her into the ground now, where I think you're trolling if you pick her over Lulu. They've nerfed her so fucking many, and I understand why, because the skill floor for playing Janna is so low that they kind of have to. But I really liked there's a time where you could build full AP on Janna instead of the enchanter items, and you were rewarded for that, but you'd be more vulnerable. So like the payoff was you'd have stronger heals and shields, but you would fucking just get blown up so much quicker because you weren't running the support items that gave you health and armor and magic resist. But yeah, J4 just. I mean, I don't see J4 enough to talk about. I feel like he can be really, really good, but like he also suffers from pro play syndrome where I think he is best in solo queue full AD as an assassin, but no one plays him that way. Yeah, I don't know. Jack's best split pusher in the game, hands down S tier. He's really, really good versus against or goes even skill matchup versus these three. His rework made him really, really strong. He's hyperscaling, split pushing top laner that knocks on your door and then eventually just becomes like a menace to society. And you know, is just associated. If you play him, you're just associated with being a pedophile because there's just fucking 3 players who one trick him in Challenger who are just all fucking pedophiles. I don't know. Jace, A tier. He's again pro play syndrome. He's so good in laning phase, and then he has a really, really good late game that he's kind of just like, why play this when X, Y, and Z exists and you put less work and you get more? He requires a lot of skill and the payoff isn't worth it. Kaisa, A tier, really good, like, really, really, really good AD, hyperscaling. I love having her on my team, but not when I'm playing a fucking Killy. I would rather have her when we're looking to scale. Jhin, just don't pick Jhin. I'm not even gonna like. There's no reason to pick Jhin when Caitlyn exists. Just don't pick Jhin when Ashe and Caitlyn exist. Like, please just don't pick Jhin. I just think this character is just terrible. It's just fucking terrible. He does. I feel like he literally does negative damage. Jinx, pretty same kind of deal as Kaisa. Honestly, really not much to be said. She's just hyperscaling AD. Kaisa suffers from Callista suffers from pro play syndrome. I actually really like laning with Callista because I like having a hyper aggressive AD, but this character just suffers from pro play syndrome where she has so much utility and she falls off super hard. She just solidifies early game and mid game, and then because she sees so much pro play, you'll never see her in solo queue. Karma, I think Karma is S tier. She's the jack of all trade support. She has CC. She has a little bit of everything, and she has a very good laning phase that can help you get to the early game. She just sucks dick late game in comparison to other supports. That's her only issue. Like late game, she just becomes a Shurelya's bot, which is okay. But then you just think, why would I pick this over Zillion if I'm going to be a Shurelya's bot? And then you realize, oh, because she only gives me a good early phase. So she's good at surviving. She's good at getting you through. She wins a lot of matchups. Like, I just think she's a really very versatile character, jack of all trades. She does everything well, but not better than others. Karthus, I think, is S tier. He just hyper scales. Really, really good AP jungler. Does a lot of damage. You're literally rewarded for suiciding into the enemy team because sometimes you can go 1 for 2 or even more. His ultimate is just such a huge threat that makes people buy defensive items. Yeah, just really, really good character if your team comp allows it. Kassadin just got changed. I would have told you he's the best mid laner in the game, but they just nerfed him super hard today. So I'm going to go on a limb and say he's still going to be S tier because this character has always had issues. They can never... He's one of the original 20 who they can just never find a way to balance. So, yeah. Katarina, I think, is S tier for solo queue. She does an insane amount of damage. She threatens, roams all the time. Really good solo queue character, but again, like, I would rather have Akali. She's just kind of like a worse Akali, slightly worse, but I think she's amazing for solo queue, and sometimes she just pops off and gets pentas. It's like, she's known for being the pentakill character, for a reason. Kale, if you pick Kale, I hate you. Just don't fucking pick Kale. I'm not even gonna say like anything else than that. Like this character just feels so useless. Like I just don't pick Kale. Kayn, I'd say he's A tier if you go red. Sometimes he can pop off on blue. Kind of just depends on the player. He's kind of like Evelyn, feast or famine. If he gets his stacks, he gets his transformer early, he's good. Kennen, I don't see this character anymore. So I honestly, I'll just put him here. I just think he needs to visually be reworked. Kha'Zix, I think this is such a cool looking character, but he really only sees solo queue play, and there are better assassins to play. Kindred is hands down the best. Like, I would say she's one of the best solo queue junglers because she just scales so well. She does a lot of damage. She's kind of like, honestly, she's kind of like the AD version of Karthus jungle. Like, she's the hyper scaling jungler that does a lot. And she's really good for team fights. If you have a team comp that can play around her, she's really, really good. If she gets her marks, part of me wants to put her A tier, but I just think the character's really bonkers. Kled, I think, is A tier. He wins a lot of matchups. Really, really good for solo queue. Just a very simple, funny. I love the thematic. Great character. Kyle, I want to just fucking rework this ugly. Like, I don't even know what this is, man. Just rework this character. Just it needs to be a new character. LeBlanc, just rework this character. This character, it's supposed to be an AP assassin, but she just, it's just like, I don't know, man. There's so many better characters to play. Just like rework this character. Lee Sin, okay, this is such a cool character that has stood this test of time. I think some people are playing him mid and top now because his E max is good. I think Lee Sin will always be a staple of League of Legends, and he will always be one of the poster boys. Leona, just don't pick Leona. Just pick Nautilus. Lilia. I don't know, man. They're buffing her next patch. I just think she doesn't do enough damage. And she was really good when Jack Show was first around, but now they nerfed Jack Show and they nerfed her, so they're buffing her, I think, next patch. But she just needs more numbers. She doesn't do enough, and she doesn't provide enough. Again, very feast or famine character like Evelyn. Lissandra, A tier, just really good control mage like Anivia and Azir. She just provides CC instead of like. Whereas Azir and Anivia provide damage and control, Lissandra just really focuses on locking down people and control. She's like, I love having Lissandra on my team because even if you int, like you're still somewhat useful on this character. Lucian, I think, is one of the best AD carries as well. Honestly, I'm gonna put him A, but I'm gonna put him high A because he just got nerfed. It just sucks that he suffers from Zeri where they're very dependent on what support you have. Like if Lucian without Nami is it's a different champion. Like the two just synergize together so well. Lulu is S tier. She's the best enchanter in the game. Really nothing much to be said. She's just brainless beyond belief. Best enchanter to play. There's really not much to say. Lux, I think, is A tier as a support. If we're gonna say mid laner, I think she's C tier, but she's usually only played as a support now, so I'm gonna put her as A tier. Malphite, just reworked this character. I think he's so fucking cool. Like, honestly, he's an AT character because of his ult, but like, he just needs to be reworked. Like, he's a cool idea that needs to be worked on. So I think he is an A tier character because he is good in solo queue, he is good in pro play. His kit is strong, but like he just needs a visual or like something. Like his kit's just a little outdated. I don't know. Malzahar, just it's like, you know, I play Malzahar when I think he looks cool. I love his abilities, I love his design, but like again, they're just better control mages to play. Why play him? Maokai, A tier, really good tank, really good jungler, really good, just extremely, like, he's just a very versatile character that can be flexed in 3 different roles. Yeah, he's just super versatile, kind of like Karma in that he does a little bit of everything really, really well, but not better than most. Yeah. Master E, I hate this character, like, literally the feast or famine Evelyn, but for AD, like, just please, I hate seeing this character on my team or against it. MF, she used to be S tier, but like now I honestly think she's C tier because she's fallen off a bit. Wukong, S tier jungler, like provides so much utility, super good bruiser, abuses Divine Sunder more than anyone else. Just a very, very good jungler overall throughout all the stages of the game. Really, really good character. Not much to be said. He's very, very simple, very, very one-dimensional. Yeah. Mordekaiser, A tier. He's a good AP bruiser top, and he hard counters Yumi. Yeah. don't feel like it's like, why pick this when this, I don't know. He's an alright character though. I would definitely say he's above average. I think he's definitely an A character. Morgana, C tier. I love this character. I think she looks so cool, but she's just only used as a counter pick, and I think that she has a lot of potential to be played mid. I loved her after they reworked her. I think she's great, but I just think she needs a little bit more love. Nami, S tier, specifically when she's with Lucian. Other than that, she's like A or C. But she's just the second best enchanter besides Lulu. I would say Lulu is very versatile, that she can be with everyone, and she does the best of her job. Nami's super good early game, but falls off late game. But with Lucian, it's like a 2v8 machine. Nasus is C tier. Really not much to be said. The fantasy of you getting the stacks and getting to late game doesn't happen enough for him to be higher tier. Nautilus is the best engaged support in the game. He's been the best engaged support in the game. He's just he's so good. I just think this character, he sees pro play, he sees solo queue play, he's been prevalent for so long, and he just looks like this ugly sack of shit the entire time. It's sad. This character is getting reworked. We already know it. Nidalee, I think, is A tier. I mean, she's S tier in the right player, but it's rarely happens. The people who play Nidalee are really dedicated to Nidalee and know all the animation cancels and have maximized the clear as quickly as possible. Where are we at? Alright, it doesn't tell me how long I've been recording, but whatever. Yeah. Nocturne. I love this character, but they're better AD assassins to play. That's really all there is to it. And he is getting a rework, so I'll put him in this category. Nunu, I think, is A tier. He's just really, really good for solo queue. He's hilarious when he's played full AP. He's really, really good at ganking. I love having Nunu on their team because it's a very proactive tank. And I think his rework was also one of the best reworks. He's just so fucking cute and adorable. I love it. Olaf, just reworked his character. He's ugly as fuck. Just the idea of he's just what is Olaf, man? He's just some Nordic Viking. Come on, man. We can elaborate on this more. We can do better than this. Just rework this character. Oriana, it's really sad because she's also one of the poster childs of League, but she suffers from Y play X, one play X, or one play Y. There's just better control mages to play. You could even make an argument that she's A tier in the right hands, but again, I would say she's highest in C tier. Ornn, amazing tank, one of the best tanks in the game. Really, really good top laner. Helps you scale. Love the thematic. Love how the character looks. Just really not much to say. Just a really, really good tank. Pantheon, I think, is A tier. He's so good in solo queue. He can play jungle, mid, top. Super good early game. Very straightforward. I honestly think people should play this character more. I think he's really, really good. Poppy, just another good tank. Good jungler, but, it's why play Poppy when Ornn? Pyke, okay. I have an issue with this character. I think this character is the most broken. He would be the best support in the game if he doesn't get vibe checked by Nautilus. I think this character is just so 1v9. This character just walks around the map and just causes so much chaos and mayhem. And I guess you can make an argument that it gets blown up late game, and sometimes they just chain into late game. But I think a good Pyke player will just take over the game. I think he is the definition of the 1v9 support. I think the thematic is really cool, but playing versus Pyke it feels like you're just at a disadvantage because this character, this character is going to diff you, and there's not much you can do about it, but just call missing pings. I really don't know how to be to this day. I don't know how to beat Pyke other than play Nautilus, and I think Nautilus is so boring, so I refuse to do it. Yeah. Kiana, I think in the right hands is a really good AD assassin. Just cool design. Just a really good AD assassin. Just a solid pick. Quinn, just rework this character. Rakan, just rework this character. Rammus, please rework this character. Rek'Sai, why play this when so many other things exist? Rel, we already know is getting a rework. Renekton, it's why play Renekton when Aatrox? Rengar, I think, is, again, another good AD assassin, but for jungler. Just a solid AD assassin. Riven. God, I love Riven so much, but it's like, why play Riven when Irelia, when Fiora? It feels like she's fallen out of favor. But I know the Riven one tricks like love this character, and it's a very good reason because she has a lot. She's a very. There's a lot of ins and outs of this character, and she stood the test of time to show it. Rumble, S tier character, just can be played mid, can be played jungle, can even be played support if you really want. His ultimate is just too good, and it speaks for itself. Like he just has such a good ultimate that provides so much, and he's got a really strong early game too. And the fact that his one item spike is literally fucking sword boots is really funny to me. Rise is apparently a very good pick right now, but I don't know enough about Rise. I just know that a lot of people are saying he's a really good pick. I don't know enough about Rise to talk about him, though, to be honest with you. Samira, she fills her niche as, like, this, like, the marksman who is also assassin, who gets in there and, like, sometimes gets a pentakill. It's just, like, she's very feast or famine. She has to win lane. She has to have an engaged support. But she does work. So I'm going to put her in A2. Sejuani, I mean, I don't know. I feel like she's S tier because she can be played top, and she's a really good tank too. And she's just always been a really good character. She just provides a lot of CC, and she does a decent amount of damage, and she's pretty tanky too. So I would put Sejuani S tier. Senna, just rework this character. This was such an ambitious idea, and she's just so toxic to play with or against. Like, just rework this character. Seraphine, it's like I want to put her rework because it's like what does she want to be, man? Does she want to be an enchanter or does she want to be a mid laner? I feel like you're trolling if you pick her. Like, if you pick Seraphine support, I actually just think you're trolling in League. Like, and if you play her full AP mid and that's what your thing, then I would say she's A tier. She's a pretty good control mage full AP mid. But, like, most of the people who play this character... I mean, there's literally a challenger player. This is the only Seraphine player who's, like, really good. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just think this character needs to be solidified in one of the two roles. She double zips into two roles, and if you play one of them, you're trolling. But I think she's a really good mid laner because she's really good in team fights. She does a decent amount of damage. She's a late game fantasy. Yeah, she's alright. But I'll put her A tier because she's up there with. I think she needs some changes. But Riot needs to decide what they want her to be. They designed her originally as a mid laner, but because she has her, like, just change her W to be something else. Like, maybe it gives everyone move speed instead of the shield and heal. Like, this character, it's too all over the place. Like, I think she should just be a mid laner. It makes sense, because, like, the mid laner is the star of the show. Set, simple, but again, he's right there with Garen. Why play X when when Y? Shaco, just rework this character. Shen, I think, is amazing. He's a really good tank, really good in solo queue, provides a lot of utility, and he has a pretty good matchup versus Irelia Riven. Shyvana, just rework this character. I feel like every single time I see this character, I feel like Shyvana players, they're all one tricks and they all build this character wrong. Like, they build her tank or some stupid hybrid AD build, but like I always think that the best way to play this character is just full AP one shot with Nightbringer, but no one does it, and I don't know why. Like, I've always thought Shyvana is just a good AP one shot character. I mean, this is the recommended build, but I see this all the time. I see people doing this. But I really just think it's just I don't even think you build Nashers. I think you just go Nightbringer Deathcap and like just build all the flat AP items. She just has such a good AP scaling on her E, and then she just farms Dark Harvest like crazy. Honestly, I think she can be a C2 character, but I think she needs to be reworked. Singed, I think in the right hands is a pretty good character.
but he doesn't see enough play, so I don't know. I think unpopular opinion, I think Singe is a pretty good character. Yeah. Scion, really good tank, hyperscales, and then the funny AD players can play him AD, and you know, the boss, haha, the boss of his, solo bolo, Lamau, whatever. Sivir, solid AD, good safe pick, and she scales really, really well. Also, notably very, very good with Lulu and Yumi. Skarner, we already know he's getting reworked. Sona, she hyper scales and she's so good when she gets to late game. Like after the 30-minute mark, she's great, but she's such a detriment to your AD early game that it's literally, I think the best Sona players just know how to just go 0-0-0 with her and just beat KDA players, because at 30 minutes she becomes online when she has rank 2 in her ultimate, and she's just constantly spamming spells, and she's so OP in team fights. But yeah, she's a simple character, and I don't know. I just think this character is mad mid. Soraka, I think, has been S tier, always will be S tier. She is super good enchanter. She just is not as versatile as Lulu, but she's very, very good. I definitely think the top 3 enchanters are these 3 right now. Swain, it's just like, he's just mid. There's really not much to say. It's just like mad whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like Galio does his job better, and he just feels like whatever to me. Just doesn't provide enough damage. He's not tanky enough. I get what he wants to be, the AP bruiser that gets infinite health, but you can't get to that point because he's not durable enough to actually make the lifesteal on his ult matter. Yeah. Okay, hot take. Everyone is obsessed with this character, and they say it's going to S tier. I think this is the most useless sack of shit in the game. I think this character is so bad. I don't know why people play this character. I really don't get the obsession with it. I don't think he's good jungle. I would rather have a control mage mid. He does a lot of damage. He's flashy and he's cool. And his ultimate is very versatile, but, like, I don't know, man. People have this obsession with Sylas. I don't know if it's just because he's so edgy and he's cool looking or what. Syndra, if you asked me a couple patches ago, I think she was like S tier 80 carry, but now they've nerfed her and she's kind of like, she just kind of feels whatever. I'll put her A tier, but she's like a low A. Tom Kench, I like his rework most recently, but it's like, why play him? Why Nautilus? I'll say it every patch. I mean, honestly, I should just be a Nautilus one trick at this point. Talon, I think he's right there. Like, him and Kiana do the exact same thing. It's just a different play style, I think. They're very similar. He's a good solo character. Not much else to say. Tarek, just play Nautilus. Teemo, I just fucking remove this rat from the game. Okay, Thresh. I love Thresh. But, again, why play Thresh when Nautilus splits? Tristana, I think she's just super good mid lane cheeser, and she's really, really good AD, and people who play her aggressively and right, she's just a solid AD. She's not, these levels of good, but she's definitely good. Trundle, just rework this character again. I don't know, man. Like, all of his abilities, his thing is his pillar, but everything else is just so random. Like, just rework this character again. Trend is getting a rework. TF is A, but I think this character is shit. I get why I'm putting him A because of his ultimate and because of the utility he provides, but I secretly think this character is A. He does, if you have a team comp that can play around, like, TFR, it's good. Twitch, I think this character, he's like feast or famine AD. He has a good, he's A, but he's low A, and only because he can do the AP build. Like, he can be either one, and he's good in both, but I still would rather have other ADs. But then he's A because he's really good in solo queue, and he does the cheese shit, like, where he just runs mid level 2 or 3, and he just always works. And he can also be played jungle randomly. Udyr, I think this character is so broken right now.
he's one of the best junglers in the game. He's very flexible. I think you can still do the full AD thing, but the best way to play him is AP Bruiser right now. I think this character is so good. He does so much damage. I mean, I just played with SRO playing him top lane, and it did really well. Urgot, I think this is a very good character. He's just a good bruiser. He's not these two good, but I think he's very good, and he can split push pretty well, and he 1v1s pretty well. And his ultimate is super fucking hilarious. I just think he's a pretty solid character, and that's why I'm putting him as. Varus, I think he's A, but he's high A. He just kind of suffers from, I want to be Caitlyn, but I'm not. And I think the better way to play him is the poke iteration, not the on-hit iteration that everyone's doing. Vayne, I think Vayne is really good. She does a lot of fucking damage. She has a lot of mobility. She just suffers from her early game. She is the traditional I 1v9 late game AD, but it's hard for her to get there. But I do think good Vayne players will take over the game. And I've always had a soft spot for this AD. I think this is a really cool AD. Veigar, I don't know. They nerfed him after he's been playing AD. I really like Veigar. I think his thematic is so cool, but I think mid lane itemization is just too bad for him to shine. Vel'Koz, honestly, the same kind of deal. Like, actually, the exact same kind of deal as Veigar. Apply everything I just said, but to him. Viego, I think, is like A tier. He's a very, very good skirmisher. He randomly pops off. Thematically, he's, very, very cool. Just a solid character, and I think his ultimate and like these chain kills that he gets, where he just becomes one person or another, where someone who like has played every character and like understands the ins and outs of every character will really benefit from this character, because when you play Viego, you're essentially playing anything that the enemy team has as well. Vi, I think she's S tier. Very simple, easy, good skirmisher. I think she's very solid, easy to play, really great character, and she's my favorite jungler besides Fiddlesticks. Victor, I think Victor is he's right there with a Nivea and a Azir and Lissandra. Like, just a very good, solid control mage, but he's more focused on damage than the other three. Vlad, I think, is... I want to put him S because he just 1v9s if he gets... He's one of those characters where, like, if you just get full build, you just lose. He's so fucking good. Like, and there's very little counterplay. So I'll put him S. It's just, he just lacks early game, and he doesn't have prior level 1, so junglers hate playing with Vlad. Volibear... I really like Volibear, but he needs to decide if he wants to be a top laner or a jungler and what he's going to excel at. Am I going to be this weird AP bruiser, or am I going to be full tank that runs people down? And I think his ultimate's really cool, too. I think that was one of the best ultimates they made in the game. Warwick he's just this cheese top laner now. I don't know what else to say. Xayah, I don't know. Just, honestly, I'm going to put her C. And honestly, because of that, I'm going to move Rakan here. Rakan doesn't need a rework. He needs buffs. Like, I like the fantasy that Rakan is supposed to be, but he just needs buffs. Xerath, what's there to say, man? Yeah, it's the same thing as Veigar Vel'Koz. And then he just randomly gets played as this funny support, just like Vel'Koz. Xin Zhao, okay, I think Xin Zhao is pretty good. I don't know why people don't play Xin Zhao more. I feel like he's really simple. He does his job well. He's a good bruiser. He's a good jungler. He provides a lot of disruption. He randomly just pops off and it becomes a really good character. I think Xin Zhao is really, really good. He needs a rework, though, for sure. Like, he just looks too ugly. Yasuo, I think, is just the shittier Yone. Yone is amazing. Yone is, hands down, one of the best characters in League. If this character gets his builds, gets all of his items, gets ahead, it just feels impossible to play the game. I think this is such a good character. And he looks badass as fuck. Like, this is one of the best characters in League. Yorick, I don't know what to say, man. Why play Yorick when they're... His idea is, like, I'm this split-pushing, like, necromancer, but, like, I don't know, man. They're just better split pushers to pick.
Yumi is getting she's a brand new character today, and she's getting a full rework in the future. So I'm not going to talk about it. Zac, amazing jungler. He can be played full AP. He can be played mid lane. He can be played top lane. He can play support. He's just very very good at abusing the items right now, and he has one of the highest win rates in the game. I just think he's really really good at everything. Very top of the line. He's not like Ornn levels of tanky, but he does a decent amount of damage. Thematically, I think his E is one of the coolest abilities in League. Yeah, just super solid. Zed, S tier. He's the better Kiana and Talon. He also gets played jungle. Does a lot of damage. In the right, a good Zed player will 1v9 take over the game, kind of like a Kali. Not much to be said. Just a very solid assassin. Ziggs. I want to put him A tier because he can be played AD and he's a very good flex AD. But it's kind of just like, all the artillery mages, they just suffer from itemization issues. It's just, it is what it is, man. Zillion, just rework this character. Mad mid. Zoe, again, suffers from, another artillery mage that suffers from it. Alright, my character. This character's shit. Don't play this character. I love her to death, but she's just shit. Just, why play Zyra Winheimer? That's all I'm going to say. Just don't play Zyra. Action. I honestly think this character needs a rework. But he's so new, and I know it's not going to happen. I'm just going to say he's a shit top laner. He's just a better Quinn, honestly. Vex, I think, is mad mid. She's so bad. She's so terrible versus tanks. I cannot tell you how bad it is to have Vex versus tanks. It's literally the worst pick in the world to have versus tanks. Zeri, S tier AD, but only when she has Yumi Lulu. Hyperscaling AD. She's what Vayne wants to be right now. What's her name? I fucking forgot. Renata. Just a overall solid support, provides a lot of utility, cool thematic. I just think her E is the most useless ability in League of Legends. Like, it is so fucking bad. I don't even think this is an enchanter. I think this is more of like an engaged character or a counter engaged character. This is not. I don't know why they have her as an enchanter, because her E is literally useless as fuck. Belveth, she's what Mastery wants to be, the hyperscaling, hyper carry AD, but better, melee AD. Rework this character, and then Cassante is S tier. He's just another really really good tank. Neela. Just one more thing. I just want to say I think Neela was a cool idea, but it's not possible. Like, why would you play this when I actually think Yasuo is just a better... Like, this whole idea of a melee AD, like, fantasy, it's just way too feast or famine. I think they should just rework this character to be a top laner because, like, I liked the idea, but, like, what is the play rate of this character? Like, she came out, and then she was good one patch, and then, like, she was never, ever played again. Like, let me look at the play rate. Like, 2 point... Like, what the fuck? I just think this character is obviously... Yeah. Yeah. Pick these characters and win the game. It's just that easy. If you pick anything below here, I just honestly think you're trolling. And I'm one of those people trolling because I'm playing this second show. Yeah. Thanks for watching.